Thank you for telling me that, tie-dye, sky-dye, tie-dye. Thank you. Uh, yeah, I'm pissed because now I gotta do my whole spiel that I'm doing again, but oh well. What's going on, tie-dye? And you are special. That's what my mom tells me, and the doctor. Thank you, Fiona, for the love and the lurk. I appreciate it. Now that I'm actually able to talk and you can hear me, I appreciate it. What's up, guys? How are you doing today? Uh, Today, the discussion that I'm having is about. All right, I'll just start off with the point. BRB one sec. Yeah, no problem. I'll just start off with my point and then I'll just continue from there. Uh, Season 2 of Atlanta is out. I think the first episode just dropped last week, if or this week. What was today? The 6th. 5 days ago, the first episode just dropped. Um, and I'm amazed. I'm amazed. That TV show is much respect to Donald Glover. Thank you um, for the piece of art that you are bringing to this generation that I wasn't, a lot of people weren't aware that we needed. And I think that that's the point of this. I'm a college student, and let's just put this in perspective. Today I just resumed classes, and in my photojournalism course, they showed me this man. I don't want to butcher his name or like say the wrong name. I have it written down in my book. I don't remember it, but I think his name was like Jimmy or something like that, and he took pictures of Harlem. Uh, he dropped the art compilation called Back in the Day, and a lot of people, if you're an art connoisseur, I guess from there you should know who I'm talking about. Please correct me for that name that I'm not giving right now, but he's taken photos that every single one of us take. You know, just being with our friends, just being with, just being alive is the point of it. All your living moments, whether it's a selfie, you with a group of people, just it's things of the the moment that is things of our time. And when I say our time, I don't mean like very like right this very second. What I'm trying to say is it's a voice for our time that we are currently living in. 2K18, this progressive year. Can I say shout out to the Oscars? I think that this is I think it was absolutely amazing. Uh, the people that I saw there. Uh, Jordan Peele won an Oscar for Get Out. The fact that when I went to go see Get Out, and we take this for granted, we do take this for granted as a new generation that didn't have to deal with the ills of the last. But when I saw the movie Get Out in the first time in theaters, I said, I'm yo, we've come so far to even be able to allow something like this on a television. Well, not on a television, but on the big screen. If you watch that movie, if you have watched that movie, then I don't know if you came to the same realization, but we've, as the minority, or as the I don't know, I guess I'll leave it with the quotations of the minority, which I think now is the majority. Um, e- Extreme forms of expression like that aren't really allowed much. And the fact that someone picked up that and it's now an Oscar nominee, people have embraced that movie and it's a statement for its time, that movie. I think that's amazing. And I think that Donald Glover is doing the same exact thing right now with Atlanta. First off, let me say soundtrack wise, there's no other show that I can go to right now that I'll be watching the show and I'll get hype as shit when like a song comes on. I'll never forget. I think it was the first episode, and they played that OJ the Juice Man. Like, I never heard that shit before Atlanta, and that shit had me rocking. Back at it, craftmatic. All I know is mathematics. Uh, that beat was hard as shit, and I grew up in New York City, but um, I spent a year in the South. I know, or I think I have a feel. I can't say that I know, but I have a feel for the South. I love the South for the essence that they bring that I don't get to see in New York. New York is a whole nother monster, but I love the essence. Like I know the importance of Future, th- literally the rapper, the artist Future, because of down south. And like I'm a fan of Future. Like I can say that I'm a fan, and he doesn't get the recognition he deserves. I don't know what's gonna get him the clout if this doesn't, if what he's done hasn't. But I don't want to break off on too much of a tangent. So um, I don't know where this all came from. When Childish Gambino first came, like I first came to the realization of who Childish Gambino was when Eat Your Broccoli or Eat Your Vegetables came out, and that controversial line. I don't want to bring it up for negative purposes, but that controversial line came out, which was a bar, and that made me listen to his whole list of music and continue listening to him, and he became a core uh, person that I listened to. Um, because I think the album is because the internet. I love that album. That one is really what made me a fan of him and differentiated him from being a mixtape artist to an artist, period. I love the short film for that he dropped. I thought that that was very progressive. Um, he's put in a lot of work, but never did I think that he would be as widely embraced as he is. I didn't think that Childish Gambino was going to become Donald Glover, because that's what's going on. Donald Glover is just, uh, he's a force to be reckoned with, and he knows, he in his heart knows, which is crazy to me, that he is going to go down in history. And what a privilege that is of what you've accomplished and what you're going to accomplish. Because Donald Glover is far from over. Far from over. And bringing it back to Atlanta, I see the reference, or I see someone speaking through a series. um, I don't think I've ever been able to connect to another show as much as I've been able to connect to Atlanta, just because it has the sound that I want. Not only that, it has the stories that I need, but not only because I can go on YouTube and get Respect Life or Money and Violence or all these other shows that are on YouTube that bring this one element to the equation. Um, it just shows the life of a certain person, but still that life is like a caricature in the sense that there are people that do live that life that's portrayed on those films that I myself watch. I just caught up with not Money and Violence, with Respect Life. Shout out to Boom P. Uh, I literally just caught up yesterday, and though I like that, there's something that Atlanta brings. There's a sense of intelligence that Atlanta brings that not many others can bring to the table. And as a person growing up in this generation, I think that Atlanta is one of the most progressive television shows, and the fact that, and I feel the same way that I do when I saw Get Out. And me personally, I didn't like Get Out when I first saw it. I have to watch it again, and I'm a fan of all horror movies. I watch shitty horror movies just so I can laugh, enjoy it for the art that it is, and then when I watch a really good horror movie, I can be like, that was a fucking yes. But I thought Get Out was very confrontational. Maybe that's the perfect word to use. It was a very confrontational movie, and for me to say that I'm not of the other side to for any narrative to be spun about me that I'm salty about the confrontation. I'm not. It's confrontation in respect for my culture. However, in the same time, it was one of the messages that I got for the first time watching this, and I guess I know I'm wrong for this. I know I'm not that I'm wrong for this, but this is what I saw from that film. It was like, w- to put it in politically correct terms, one culture wanted to be another culture. Like, one culture was in essence, well, stealing the essence of another in the most literal way that you can depict that. And that's what made me not like it. I thought like, all right, could we like articulate ourselves a little bit more eloquently? Is how I felt about it. But at the same time, I knew the significance of what I just saw in terms of progression. I've never seen a movie like Get Out before in my life. I'll tell you that much, and that goes the same for Atlanta. I've gotten all these other shows. We got True Blood, we got Sex in the City, we got Sopranos, we Curb Your Enthusiasm, we got Seinfeld, we got Friends, all these things, but not one of them is Atlanta. Why? Because there's a whole new culture that's being brought, and the fact that the mainstream market is just devouring it. I think that that's beautiful and that speaks for the times. I think that there is the sun is coming over the horizon. That's how I feel, and I really feel that um, we're seeing the people of tomorrow, and right now that they're not getting the recognition that they deserve, but we see them. Um, Childish Gambino. Let me not disrespect him and say that Donald Glover is a person of tomorrow. Jay-Z has been a person of tomorrow since yesterday. Um, I'm trying to think. Nadeska is a person of tomorrow. I'm trying to think of the people of tomorrow that I see. Kendrick is a person of tomorrow. There's no question about it. Hopefully, he survives until tomorrow. That's my only fear with Kendrick because history repeats. Unfortunately, when you don't learn from history, history repeats itself. And that's my one fear with Kendrick. Um, I I would be biased if I didn't say J. Cole was a person of tomorrow. The reason, like, I'm a huge fan of J. Cole. I thought he was the one when I heard Born Sinner, the album. I said, yo, this man is. And then his last project that he dropped, All Eyes on Me, or, oh, For Your Eyes Only. I apologize. Uh, I thought it was disappointing. But to say that he isn't a person of tomorrow, there are many. There are many. Let me not, take away from Mr. Glover as we're speaking about. I just wanted to say thank you to Donald Glover for what he's providing. This I can show this to my parents, My father, actually, I got my father to watch it. Um, he thinks it's amazing. My father's 43, 44 years old. He thinks it's amazing. My mom doesn't like it, but it's okay. I think she hasn't given it a chance, but I'm just proud to have something that is a part of my culture that is able to be embraced by the masses. And this is where I was going with all this, just so I can kind of end this now. It's really interesting what you take for granted. We have a voice, and I say this for everyone listening. We have a voice. Our voice, our our voices mean something. We speak on our time. Every word that you say, every word that comes out of anyone's mouth, the purpose of it being there, the reason that it's there, all those things, uh, you're a product of your time, and this needs to be documented. I think that this needs, I think that the value of our words are more valuable than we think. I think people don't put their voices out there because they feel that others know it, but sometimes your perspective may help someone else see the picture, hopefully a little clearer. Long story short, what I'm trying to say is that Donald Glover very much helped me see the value of where we are today and what our voices are, and that what we're going through isn't just life, it's art, in its own sense. It's being constructed on a daily basis in our environment, from our homes. Who you are is like a sculpture, and I think that's very important. I think you are very important. I think that we all are, and we need to stop taking that for granted. And I think that I didn't articulate myself as well as I could have, but hopefully the point got across on what I was trying to say. Uh, and all this came from season 2 of Atlanta. I want to go watch it again. I want to go watch the beginning segment just again by itself. That show is so fucking amazing to me. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your time. I appreciate it. My name is Prophet. You will see me again later. I'll see you later, tie-dye. Uh, Peace.